I want you to watch the shot, and if I didn't tell you which player was batting, who would you guess? So it's an Indian batsman, he's playing against New Zealand, and that just looks like Kohli to me. He's backed away, he smashed him over the offside, like that still. It just looks like Kohli to me. It's the kind of audacity and flourish that I'm pretty sure only one man in international cricket has, and that's Virat Kohli. And guess what? That was Shreyas Iyer. The more I've watched of up-and-coming India batters over the past few years, the more I think they all look really, really similar in terms of technique. Here is Virat Kohli playing a cover drive. The classic trigger movement, forward press, and then big stride in, full face of the bat, very positive. And we compare that to someone like Shubman Gill. Maybe not as much of a forward press, but a similar sort of flourish. And at point of contact, he looks quite similar to Kohli. What about the guy who I've just pointed out, Shreyas Iyer, who a lot of people think is going to be the future captain of India? The same similar forward press. That's Hanuma Vihari. Very positive. Point of contact is very similar. And then KL Rahul. That just looks eerily like Virat Kohli to me. If you showed me a still image like that, I would just say that's Kohli. Like, if I didn't know any better, I would guess that is Virat Kohli batting. How about a different shot? Let's see Kohli play a punch off the back foot. So he's got a forward press going back, but he rocks onto the back foot and full face the bat, head and eyes over the ball. And KL Rahul. It's just very, very similar. What about Shreyas Iyer? This is off a spinner, so it's a slightly different shot. His feet aren't together. They're more apart, but it's the same sort of positive intent that only Kohli has. If we look at a side-by-side, we look at Kohli playing a back foot punch compared to KL Rahul, they look very, very similar. And Shreyas Iyer is playing a slightly different shot because it's against a spinner, but again, he looks quite similar to the other two. And a lot of Indian right-handed batsmen look very similar to Kohli from a technical point of view. To illustrate the similarities, a great way of doing this is to have a look at them coming down the wicket, using their feet and coming down the wicket, hitting a spinner over the top. So let's look at Virat Kohli coming down the wicket compared to KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer and Manish Pandey. First Kohli, we're watching him come down the wicket to Nathan Lyon, dances down, fast hands, and hits him over his head. And Rahul, again, really good feet movement, quick hands, and hits Adam Zampa over his head for 6. This is Shreyas Iyer, good feet, quick hands, hits the bowler over his head. And Manish Pandey, slightly different shot, over cover, but again, quick hands. That's Kohli. And then Kohli and Rahul, very, very similar techniques. Kohli, Rahul, and Shreyas Iyer. And then Kohli, Rahul, Iyer, and Manish Pandey. That's the point of contact. All of their bodies are in a very similar position, head and eyes over the ball, really quick feet, quick hands. And the similarities are very clear. It seems like a lot of these younger Indian players have based their games on Kohli due to how successful he's been across various formats with his technique. Let's look at Kohli compared to Manish Pandey and Hanuma Vihari, all playing the on-drive. First, we've got a back view from the back of the nets of Manish Pandey. He's batting in the Sunrisers Hyderabad net. Very positive stride in. High top elbow, and he hits it straight down the ground or slightly leg side, so that's an on drive. Very high elbow though, that's important. There's Kohli. Forward press, very positive. That's the point of contact. High elbow, head and eyes over the ball. And Hanuma Vihari is also very similar. High elbow, head and eyes over the ball. Very positive forward press. Let's look at Vihari and Kohli side by side. Very similar position. Vihari's bat's not as straight through, but it's the same idea. These guys seem to have a very similar technique when playing the on-drive, and it's fair to assume that other players are basing their game on Kohli and not the other way around. What about comparing Kohli, Manish Pandey, Shreyas Iyer, and Shubman Gill, all backing away and hitting a fast bowler through the offside? First Kohli gets his front leg out of the way, hands to the ball. Manish Pandey, it's a little bit behind square. Shreyas Iyer, a little bit more in front of square, but backs away. And Shubman Gill probably stays the most side on. So Kohli backing away and slapping him through the offside. Kohli, Pandey, and Shreyas Iyer. And then Shubman Gill as well. And let's look at the point of contact. So Shubman Gill in the bottom right is a little bit more side on, but the other three are giving themselves a lot of room, and they seem to all be playing a pretty similar shot. It's almost as if they practiced this. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean this video as a criticism. Virat Kohli is a truly magnificent cricketer. He is the best Indian cricketer of his generation and one of the best players to ever play the game. So if playing like King Kohli helps you to score runs, I can completely understand why a bunch of these other India players want to emulate his technique.